I love doing this asymmetrical version of melting heart pose because sometimes the symmetrical pose can be quite complex and is not very accessible for everybody all the time.
Hi everybody, welcome to another Yin Yoga practice. My name is Eli and today I'm going to share with you a few poses that hopefully will help you to feel more energized. Whether you can practice this class in the morning to get going, to prepare you to start your day actually, or in the middle of the day when you feel that you need a little boost to continue your day. So let's begin. We're gonna start at the end of the mat as usual, coming into this quite common pose called butterfly pose. So we want to have a diamond shape with the legs as wide as you feel comfortable in this one, because I'm not stressing, or my intention with this is not necessarily the adductor, so I will let it a little bit like a white diamond here. And then we let go of the torso, let go of the hands. And we're going to stay in this pose for about 3 minutes. So I'm timing here so we get the length, the time that we are aiming to get into each pose. You can keep your eyes closed, and we're going to use this pose to arrive onto the mat, letting go of everything that is not serving you anymore. Reconnecting with what you need to reconnect so you can either start or continue with your day in a more positive note. In forward folds, any forward fold that we practice, especially in yin, what we do with the head is optional. But now you know that if you drop the head, we are applying that stress to our neck and tendons and cervical spine. Or you can keep your head aligned with the rest of the back. We have about 1 more minute to enjoy this forward fold. Very softly, we're gonna start releasing the pose, moving the torso up and pausing. And since forward folds are yin in nature, we're going to start adding a few back bends, because what we want with this class is to actually feel energized. So we are going to be working with the spine, especially in extension. So you can use your hands to move your legs together. We're going to start shifting the legs behind us to come into, first we're going to do Sphinx pose, and then we will move into seal if you choose to. Otherwise, you can stay here. We're going to be again 3 minutes combining both poses, or just in one. So we're going to start with Sphinx. Usually back bends are yang in nature, so even if you practice them in a yin style, they can help you to open up, to energize, to be more present with the world, while forward folds are yin in nature, irrespective of the style of yoga you choose to practice them. And they are more, they're like cooling down poses, like poses to create this inside, this feeling of going inwards, this sensation of being with myself, with closing the senses, practicing pratyahara. So practicing this withdrawal of the senses. And in English, my Sanskrit word got kind of like crushed there. Withdrawing the senses to come inwards and to listen to ourselves and our breath and our heartbeat and our thoughts. So in nature, forward folds are yin. So we want to energize the body by doing some back bends. So a minute has passed. So what we can do is either you can stay here for another 2 minutes. That's great. Or we can move the hands towards the corner of the mat, extending the elbows. It's exactly the same pose with the same benefits, but what it changes is the placement of the arms of the elbows, because that will increase the intensity of the pose. Not necessarily is going to increase the benefits of the pose, but it will definitely increase the sensations, because we're going a little bit deeper into this back bend while we lengthen the front of the body. So we just have 1 more minute left here. You can stay in a seal as you are. You can stay in a Sphinx. You can change from one pose to the other one. You can change the hands and bring the hands a little bit closer to you. That increases the stress that we're applying to the lumbar spine. So please be wise. Use your own wisdom. Listen to your inner teacher and follow what that little voice is telling you to do. Good. And wherever you are, we're going to release the torso down to the floor. We want to neutralize. I always teach this in my anatomy classes. The spine is the joint that you want to neutralize. You want the spine to go back to its natural shape. We have been stressing the posterior part of it. Now we're going to stress the front part of it. Good. Enough time to neutralize. We're gonna start shifting our body into tabletop, and we're gonna do now the opposite. So knees together, coming into child pose. So sending your hips back, rounding the spine, allowing the forehead, the head to hang heavy against the floor.
feeling how your entire body surrendered to the floor and the gravity is pulling you down. A few more seconds here. And we release the pose, bringing the torso upright. We're going to pause for a moment. And now we're going to do another back bend. So we're going to come into tabletop, making sure that your hips are stacked on top of your knees, and they're going to stay there. Your hips are going to stay in that position. They're not going back. They're not going forward. They're going to stay there. And then from here, we're going to walk the right hand forward, as far forward as it can go. We're going to bend the left elbow, kind of like putting your forearm parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then we're going to allow the forehead to drop. We're going to do this asymmetrical version of melting heart pose or anahatasana. That is one way to see it. Or we're practicing quarter dog pose. Feel how the gravity is doing its work, taking you deeper into different layers, different edges of your body. Remember that we in asana practice, we're also retraining the nervous system, the brain, so we can learn the new movements that we're doing with our body. We're gonna start preparing ourselves to let go of the pose in a few moments. Good. Now this is the time to move out. Again, stopping for a moment in tabletop. See how one side feels. Maybe it feels different than the other one. So we're going to now extend the left arm as far forward as it will go without taking the hips with it. We're going to bend the right elbow and resting our forehead on the forearm. We will be here for about 2 minutes. So allow all the gravity to make you feel heavy and surrendering to that pose, surrendering to that gravity that is our partner in yoga classes. I love doing this asymmetrical version of melting heart pose because sometimes the symmetrical pose can be quite complex and is not very accessible for everybody all the time. So this is a great way of practicing that pose in a asymmetrical version. Good. And we're gonna release the pose. Walk your hands into tabletop. Just allow your spine to be in a neutral position. No need to do any crazy movement. Just we're allowing the vertebrae to go back to their natural, regular position. And good. Now we're gonna shift our legs to the front and extend the legs to the front, and we're gonna start moving forward and down into this caterpillar pose, keeping your legs as straight as possible. You may feel or see that there's some flexion in the knees because we are not including any muscular effort into doing this pose. Toes are moving out, your palms are facing up, and torso. Basically, what we want to feel is more than the gravity pulling our head down, is the gravity moving our torso closer to the legs. This is the sensation that we're moving from the hip, not from the head. And take our time to move out of caterpillar. Pausing, waiting, observing, acknowledging. And then we're gonna come all the way down, and we're gonna finish the class. We're heading towards the end of the class by doing a similar shape that we did at the beginning, butterfly pose. So the soles of your feet together, allowing the knees to drop down as far down as they will go, keeping your spine straight and your hands to your side or your hands on your belly, closing your eyes. And this reclined butterfly, opening up the body without the intensity of a back bend. very softly. We're gonna prepare to come to the last pose. So using your hands to close the knees first, bringing the knees up to the chest. And from here we're going to squeeze the legs. Observing how does it feel after doing that reclined butterfly. And now we're gonna let go of the legs. So opening your feet wider than the mat, palms facing up, closing your eyes. And we're gonna take this last pose, Shavasana, as the pose that is gonna help us to incorporate all the benefits from the practice, from previous practices. As usual, if you have a little bit more time, you can stay in Shavasana a little bit longer. Otherwise, you can extend the arms and the legs. Bending the knees, rolling to one side, and then using your hands to help you to sit up. Maybe keeping the eyes closed to keep that energy flowing and going. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to be part of your practice today. And I will meet you back here with another Yin Yoga class and much more content for you to support your journey as a yoga practitioner, as a yoga teacher. So thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much.